Bonjour, Annie, hello. Thank you for being here tonight. That was a test for him, actually. Did it work? I would like to get started.
You can start, yeah.
Thank you for being here tonight. I just want to look at you all because you've braved the cold, braved the winter, you've just lived through Christmas, and now you're engaging with your community. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. I know how hard it is to get out on those roads. I'd like to first acknowledge that we are on Atikameksheng First Nations territory. Okay, that's been acknowledged. I am quickly going to hand this over to our facilitator tonight, but before I do that, I just wanted to introduce the steering committee. My name is Cathy Orlando. I'm a citizen. There is Tom Fortin, Ruby Lougheed, Christopher Duncanson Hales, and Kayla Marie Earl was not able to be here tonight because of a family concern that she is dealing with right now, but everything's okay. So tonight our facilitator will be Jerry LaBelle, and Jerry and I have been working on community things for a really long time, and I'm really happy he's here tonight to help us. Are you ready for us, Jerry? Thank you. So please give a warm welcome to Jerry LaBelle.
I get to step on a podium, and there's even a platform to make me taller. Good evening, and thank you very much for showing up. I think this is great. As your facilitator, I have no opinion, so if I happen to give an opinion, please remind me. I'm supposed to be neutral, so I will remain neutral. It's hard for me. I've been asked to start with some questions for the audience by raising your hand. Question number one, who wants a casino beside a community arena? Can I have a show of hands? Who wants a casino? Okay. No one? Anyone? Okay. Are you sure, Hervé? Are you positive? Okay, we got that straight. Who wants a full-fledged casino close to the city center? Anyone? One person? Okay. Did anyone go to OLG's one and only community consultation or provide feedback in 2012? How many people were there? 1, 2, 3? That's it? Okay. You taking these numbers down, Cathy? Okay, thank you. And anybody here representing an organization that's against the casinos that's here tonight? Besides, I've got the seniors here. Anyone else? Any other organization that's come out against casinos that's here tonight? Which organization?
The National Coalition Against Poverty.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Oh, I can't see because he's behind the camera. Yes, and you're with? I'm sorry? Gamblers Anonymous. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Yes?
Is there a representative of the OLG here? If so, would they move closer to the microphone so they can hear you? The acoustics are terrible.
Is there a representative from the OLG in this room? No. Okay, good stuff. We have people who've been making presentations this evening. The first one I'm going to call on is Ruby Lougheed, and she's the founder of No Casino Sudbury. It's a citizens group, so Ruby, if you want to come up.
Wow, I think I'm tall enough. Good evening, and thank everybody. I do want to thank everybody too for coming out. And it's okay to have a difference of opinion. I know that there was somebody that did want to raise their hand about that they did support the casino close to the proposed arena. And we're here about dialogue, right? I don't have all the answers. I don't think anybody has all the answers, and I think it's incumbent upon us to be respectful and to listen to each other. I was asked just to speak a little bit about how I got involved in this, and I'm a chartered accountant, chartered professional accountant now in Sudbury. I was born and raised in Isilda. I'm the 10th of 13 children, and my father was a prison guard at Burwash, and my father always told us how most of the people that were in Burwash, in his opinion, probably over 90% of them were there because of abuse or addiction. And he had a tremendous amount of compassion and love for the people that were there. And my parents instilled those values in us as a family, and we believe that you should do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And my mother always told us that, there's two kinds of people in this world, those who stand around and complain, and those who take responsibility and act. And so I come from a family without a lot of money, but a lot of love. And when I went away to university, I did a minor in economics. I love economics. And I chose to specialize in the economics of government spending. And one of the studies that was given to us to do at Wilfrid Laurier this was in early 1980s, before the legalization of casinos. And we were asked to study what the economic effects on the community would be of casinos. And I remember it well. And it was not good. It was very negative, and very interestingly enough, the effects on mining communities were the worst. And casinos, above all other forms of gambling, were the most addictive forms of gambling. And so I was at home in the morning. I'm a faithful listener to CBC. And I was, an area of great interest to me. My full-time occupation is I'm a financial advisor. And so helping people make wise decisions about their finances is my passion. And I've been doing it for many, many years, self-employed in the city. And I've been very blessed to have known personally Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and Sir Don Templeton, Prem Watsa, Charles Brandis, and many other incredible people in the financial field who all join with me in saying our governments should not be, and we're the government, right? I get to vote. You guys all get to vote. Our governments should not be exploiting the most vulnerable among us by raising money from people that can least afford to gamble by promising them. I'm going to actually read it so I don't get it wrong. So this is actually a quote that Warren Buffett gave me. Our governments should not be prying upon its own citizens to create more addicts, because some will become addicts, by raising money from people who cannot afford to gamble, by promising them, have you seen the ads, a dream that just isn't going to come true. And so when I heard our former mayor, Matachuk, on the radio one morning talking that there are no costs, no downside to a casino, and that she was 100% in support of a casino, as much as I respected the position and the individual, I called her and I said, just so you know, I have a difference of opinion, and I'm going to share that difference of opinion. And I did a radio show about it, I was interviewed about it, and I took out a full-page ad in the Sudbury Star, very much like the ad in the Toronto paper, the Globe and Mail, about educating people about the casino and coming out against the casino and garnering support from wonderful people like our medical community, our architect community, the health unit, the seniors, the unions, many other wonderful professional organizations in our community who all came out and signed their name to and supported that. And right away, my hero is up beside me, but right away, Tom Fortin, he was incredibly supportive and at a very critical time whenever you sort of step out like that, it's not always the easiest thing to do. And so Tom was basically there beside me right from day one. And So that's a little bit about my history. Studied it in great detail. I also have know some very sad stories that many of you do. I had a friend who basically defrauded people, was because of a gambling addiction, was found guilty, and the day before she was to be incarcerated, she took her own life. And the reality is we have people dying in our community over this issue. And if the OLG's stated outcome is to increase gambling revenue 5 times, and gambling revenue, I'm an accountant, is net losses, so the money people lose, okay? 34% of Canadians think that winning the lottery is their retirement plan. 34% ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen, right? That's incorrect math. So increasing revenue 5-fold means 5-fold the number of addicts, 5-fold the number of suicides, and I just do not think that we should stand by and not do nothing and say, no, I don't want any more. I don't want a full-fledged casino in our community. I do not want it beside an arena. I don't want to pay for it with my tax dollars. There are more important things that we need to pay for in our community. Our tax dollars goes towards social services, it goes to our roads, it goes to different programs that are valuable and much more important than funding with our tax dollars. And I want our councillors to listen, because you represent us, and when you come knocking at our doors, politicians and councillors, we express our views. And we were able to garner, both myself and Tom and many other incredible community supporters. I think we had an incredible amount of support from the Michelle family at AJ Home Hardware, but we have 2,223 signatures on the No Casino Sudbury petition. I've had councillors tell me that they were going to bring these to City Council, and I don't know why, but it never happened. And that is 5 times the penetration of the City of Toronto when they successfully voted down the No Casino Toronto. So Sudbury, why aren't our councillors listening to us? So included in these 2,223 signatures is Glenn Thibault, Paula Fave, some of the biggest business owners in our community, some of the heads of our big institutions. So why are we going ahead with this? And so this is part of this discussion about why we, getting the information out about what is. Like, I know who benefits from a casino, right? I have to do my money laundering training every year. It's mandatory for us in the industry. And the people that benefit from casinos the most are money launderers, human traffickers, drug dealers, and the underground economy. Because that's how you get dirty money into the system. And there are some big investigations going on with some casino companies, because there have been, I've been shared information that, and it's available, you can Google it, about the number of incidences that are supposed to be investigated and that are happening at casinos. And so it's happening. And why do we want to invite this into our beautiful community? You know, when I moved to Sudbury from Toronto, many of my friends downtown Toronto just couldn't believe I was leaving and that I would be back in 6 months. As a young professional woman, I was not going to last in Sudbury. And I said, well, you just don't know my city. It's beautiful. We've got these beautiful lakes. People are so kind and they're so warm. And it's an incredible place to grow up and to have a family and be part of a community. We don't need all of the problems that a casino is going to bring. We do not need it in our community. There are lots of Toms, an incredible entrepreneur, visionary. We've got incredible, wonderful things happening in education, in medicine in our community. We're better than this, Sudbury. We do not need to stoop as low as a casino for entertainment. We can have more facilities with activities and social activities, physical activities. There are better things we can do with our tax money and our time than a casino. Okay, so a little bit about my history, and I don't know, are we going to have questions now or about why, any other questions they have about it, or later?
We can do it right now if you want. Questions, only about 10 seconds for you to preamble the question. Which means if you want to set it up, and then please ask your question, otherwise I'll just say please sit down. We want to be respectful of everyone's time and make sure that if you want to speak at the microphone, you will get a chance because we will have an open microphone later on. So are there any questions? Can you make a comment? Yes.
About a year ago, a friend of mine that lost her mother. We went down to Sudbury for a couple of days. I didn't want to go to the casino. I have no big deal about casinos. I've gambled money cards, did not have famous in the air. Anyhow, but I went in there, and as a human, that person's a sales guy, I walked into the Sudbury casino. The place felt like death. I did not see any excitement, happy faces. It felt like death. But I couldn't find my friends. They were doing whatever. I took a cab and went back downtown. I don't see things.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
I went on the coach tour with my own tours and stopped at the casino. And on the way back, he said, "Is anyone going to do the happy dance?" And there was an eerie silence, and then we got up.
Did you everybody hear that story? No. I was on a tour and somebody said, "No, that was the microphone." That's what we
Great job.
Councillor Kerwin has told me again and again that the community will reap not less than $3.5 million from the revenues generated by the casino. Would you please counter that argument with hard figures?
We will. We will later.
We will later. That's where we're going with that. Yes.
So just one question. You said you had about, 2,000 people sign the petition?
Yes.
So my question is, how many people do we have in Sudbury?
Our population, our total,
Are you there, David?
page.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to line it up now, okay? Just give us a minute.
Already. I do have the figures in my trusty binder, but when I compared the adult population in Sudbury, Greater Sudbury to the adult population of Greater Toronto, and the number of signatures they had on their petition, and the number we had on our petition, it was 5 times the numbers. And if you want, I can get that for you later, but I do have it. I have lots of stuff in my bucket.
So on a per capita basis, you say?
On a per capita basis.
Okay, so my question though is, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of the people in Sudbury did not sign the petition, correct?
Most petitions, you never have a majority. I'll give you the No Casino, the successful No Casino Sudbury, the No Casino Toronto petition had 0.3% of their population sign the petition. Okay? So petitions in general never have those huge percentages because people just don't bother. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. Just like not very many people vote. Not 100% of people vote.
I understand that. So my question though is, why are we going with what the vast minority wants done? Not getting asked or in regards to
So it's not a minority. It's those people who actually identify themselves as not wanting to see them. We could have one that says we wanted to see them. So it is.
Use the microphone.
The petitions don't work out. That's a huge number of petitions. Yes.
Microphone.
just to go on.
Please use the microphone.
Sorry. Okay. Just to go along with that first gentleman's comment about Sault Ste. Marie, I'm in complete agreement with that. When you look at the ads in the media and on television, all you see is the excitement being shown on television. Going to a casino, if you don't go into a casino on a Friday night or a Saturday night, walk into a casino at 2 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. It is the most depressing place that you will ever walk into in your life. Just do it yourself. You think you bring this into walk in there in the afternoon on Monday. It's not an exciting place. It's people sitting all the time and we're having fun. It's the most monotonous, depressing place that you will ever see. There's probably an academic sport.
I agree with you totally, and
Yeah. Question. Well, why would they put a place downtown that entices people to blow their money? And a lot of people don't even have a lot of money to blow, so they're more enticed to do so by a place being around there. And yeah, you're less, there's a lower percentage that you will win, so it is not proper.
yeah, that's a very good point, is that you don't want it in close proximity to a residential area, because it a lot more percentage, studies have shown that it'll increase the percentage of addicts. One other comment that I forgot to make about why this became so important to me, in 2010, we were on a family vacation, it was early in the morning, and I was walking along the beach, and I ran into, it was in a foreign country, and I ran into a young lady on the beach, and I said, "Oh, what brings you here?" She was from Germany, and she says, "I had to make a radical change in my life," and she says, "I would have done something really stupid." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she says, "Well, I'm a computer programmer. I used to work for the German Lottery Corporation, and they're programming the machines to be addictive." And she says, "I just couldn't live with myself, and I had to leave." And I went, wow. And I have read that. Just Google some of this information if you enjoy going out to lotteries. These programs are specifically designed to trick your brain into keep playing because you just missed. And they're programmed to create addicts. And our government, which is all of us, are funding it.
Hi, Murphy. Thank you for the presentation. That was really illuminating. Just a question about a comment that you made a couple of times during your presentation with regards to your opinion that our municipal taxes will be paying for this casino. I'm sure that you're aware that out in the public realm there are a number of our municipal councillors who have said that we won't be paying for this casino, that this is something that our tax dollars will not be supporting. Can you explain how you see our tax dollars at work here in support of the casino?
Well, the city already committed, I think it was $100,000 to the study of the site, and the architect. And at the end of the day, OLG is a government agency that is taxpayer funded. So infrastructure to support all of that facility is not free. Right? It's going to cost us, whether it's public transportation that now is bringing people there. Our tax revenue from the community goes to roads, social services. So sure, they'll give us back a pittance of what our citizens lose and leave us with all of the problems. So the increased people that will face, businesses that'll go under, seniors. I had a good friend who was part of the elder abuse committee and talked about how many seniors lose their homes from gambling addictions. So that revenue, those seniors, if you lose your home, you're no longer paying property taxes, and property taxes are what support our municipality. And so we will lose an awful lot more than we will the pennies that we will get back in revenue from the casino.
You have a question. Because we're looking at the history where we were back in 2012. Can you tell us why the civic engagement efforts in cities like Toronto and Ottawa were effective there and not effective here?
Yeah, I'm kind of baffled by that, considering that I basically think our councillors aren't listening to us, which is a little disappointing, and especially during an election campaign, they always promise you the world when they want your vote and your support, and then, you know, even the people that said, well, I'm going to take your petition to council and we're going to bring this to vote, you know, they never came through and they never did it. And so, you know, ultimately, I was on the Chamber of Commerce Casino Committee, and we had a conference call with our committee and the OLG, and the OLG made it 100% clear. Your councillors say, no thank you, OLG, we do not want a full-fledged casino. There will not be a full-fledged casino in your community. We aren't going to force it onto any city where councillors say no. So all of us need to go and twist some arms or talk to our councillors. And I think what happens is, you know, myself included, busy professionals or busy people are, you know, involved in, you know, fighting poverty, and we're doing all these other wonderful things. And, you know, maybe we're not encouraging our councillors to listen to us as much as maybe they should be, because they are supposed to represent us. And like I said, we have 5 times the penetration as the City of Toronto. Why did their councillors vote no? Why did our councillors not stand up against it?
Well, that's a quick supplementary. Was there actually a voting council? The understanding that I had back in 2012 was that this wasn't a decision that was left to the local city councils to make. That's out of their hands. That's
not true. Yeah, see, this is why we're having this meeting, is that there is a tremendous amount of misinformation. Misinformation like, well, it's a done deal. It's not a done deal. It is not a done deal. Information like, well, it's out of our control. That's not true. Our councillors represent us. We pay them. Our property taxes pay them. They have a moral responsibility to listen to their constituents. I think we all have to be aware that we need to all call our councillors and tell them, look, whether it's Renee or Deb or Mike's here somewhere, I think. Is Mike still here? And we got to call them and we got to say, no, I don't want a casino. Like, I've been emailing them. I've been reaching out. But we need more of the people to do it. And it's an incredible amount of good people in our community that have signed this petition.
Yes.
Will it come to a vote? Can it come to a vote in the next election? Yes or no?
Let's have it before then, and then if we have to, for sure. Yes, it can. Again, we need to raise this. This has to become a political issue. Yeah.
A question for Tom.
On that, Tom's up.
Tom's going to speak in a couple of minutes to it.
Okay, I can ask a question now?
Sure, why not?
Tom, obviously people believe that a casino will have a positive economic impact, will be positive for the community, or they wouldn't be championing it. And I think some of those people clearly are at council table, they believe that. And I'm not trying to belittle their belief, but what I wonder is, what do they know? What does that coalition know that Toronto, Hamilton, St. Catharines, Guelph, Kitchener-Waterloo, Ottawa, and Peterborough doesn't know?
Well, in all the cases where in all the cases where a council has turned down a casino, there's always been a leader on there. So you look at the mayor in Markham, it was really him who championed stopping the casino. You look in Peterborough, it was really the mayor who basically championed bringing the casino to Peterborough. It's always about what is the makeup of council. And so the groups, while we do have an influence and so on, I don't think it's as great as we'd like it to be. And what was the first part of the question?
I mean, what is the economic impact? If they believe there's going to be a positive economic impact here, what do we know that they don't know because they voted against it?
Yeah, I wish they would convey that to me, because then I could go back to camp and not worry about all this. If I truly believed it was going to be a good thing. I think there's just other motives involved. And maybe I'll start off my talk now, I guess.
No. David's waiting. Actually.
Oh, David's waiting. Oh, okay. I'll explain more when because I'm going to give the economic impact. I'm going to talk a bit about the how do we get casinos? Who has the ultimate authority? What is the role of the council? That sort of thing. So I think I'll answer your question in the body of my presentation.
Thank you. Can you speak closer to the microphone, please?
Yeah, my name is Lee Cathy. I'm a whistleblower activist working outside the courthouse and I hear about corruption. And basically I went to see the MP and he wouldn't see me because the subject was corruption. You know, now this is a big red flag about the democratic state and how the lawyers are controlling a lot of things, and it's just disgusting.
Thank you. Next we have Mr. David Robinson, who's on the phone. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this.
We'll do it. David, could you do a test into the microphone?
Hello there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you. Are you there?
I'm still here.
Is it okay?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
You can do what you want. I'll do whatever you want.
So, David, would you like to say anything about the proposed casino on the Kingsway here in Sudbury?
Well, I'd like to say something as an economist about the effect of the casino on the local economy. There's really only 4 ways that you can get a positive effect from the casino, and none of them work except the 4 ways are you could get an increase in jobs that have people living by. You could get better jobs and an increase in income on average, but that won't happen. You could get a big expansion of market capital. That's what Governor Reynolds came promised, but that won't happen. And you could make the city more attractive so that you get economic development among businesses. And that will not happen with the casino. So there's very little upside here. Essentially, the problem is getting something new to the city. That's what it wants. For those of us who are paying taxes, we look at that poor people, the people who are rich, who are paying below our taxes. But basically, this is not a gain for the city.
David, I'm sorry, the audio is just awful. But what I'm hearing is there are 4 ways a city can benefit from a casino, and Sudbury does not qualify. I really liked your Nowheresville letter to the editor yesterday, and it was, or tourist attraction. Sudbury is not a Nowheresville. Sudbury is not a tourist attraction. Great letter to the editor yesterday. I'm sorry the audio is not good and we could not get you on Google Hangout. Thank you for taking your time to do this. It's auditorially, it's not working, and I apologize to everyone for trying and failing. Thank you, David. He said, thank you, everyone.
Now it's me. Yes. Yep. Okay. We got a little show to put up there. A little show? Okay.
First of all, I probably just maybe should tell you a little bit about me, because this is really out of my character. I'm a manufacturer, so I've had a business for 31 years in Sudbury. We manufacture electronics and controls and that sort of thing, export them all over the world, and I have a foundation where I help young people start businesses in manufacturing. We have the Fortin Discovery Lab at NORCAT, where I mentor people starting businesses. I've helped a lot of the existing manufacturers in town over the past years with their businesses in regards to adding innovation, because electronics is pretty much, it's the key component, doesn't matter what area you're working in medicine, mining, or whatever. Electronics, software, there's where all the innovations come. So I'm kind of about, I've been a big proponent of building our own industries, locally owned, locally designed, locally innovative, and exporting all over the world. And I think the future for us isn't so much depending on large multinationals coming in and setting up a big shop, or the mine. The mines over the past decades have been shedding jobs. We've all seen that. But we've been doing really, really well in Sudbury as far as innovative companies, particularly in manufacturing. Of course, a lot of it is mining related. And that's really where the future is for us. And so what do we need to facilitate that? We need to build confidence and competence in young people, encourage them to take the right things in school, and provide mentorship and guidance. And so people have to be more involved in the community. And that's one good thing that's come out of this whole effort, is that there's a lot of people who are just busy building their business and building their lives, who realize that, holy crap, I can't just do my own thing here and then expect everything to evolve perfectly around me, that I got to pay attention. And so it's been there's a lot of people that are going to be stepping up, I think, especially in the next election, you'll see. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, in order to build our community, we've produced, look at Walter Siglow, Hardline Solutions. One guy, he was my student actually many years ago, and now he has over 100 employees, 25 engineers in Dowling. Imagine what that means for that community. 30 of his employees are from Dowling. He has 25 engineers. These aren't cheap. They're very high, well-paid people. And that's just one guy. And then you look at like Rock Tech or Ricky Lemieux there, what he's doing there in their mine. There's so many companies. There's probably 30 manufacturing companies in innovation that are producing thousands of jobs in Sudbury, and that's the kind of thing we have to promote. And to do that, we have to be able to attract an educated workforce. We need engineers and programmers and all these kinds of people that add innovation and that sort of thing. We need everything else too, of course, electricians and all that sort of stuff. But we have to be able to attract an educated workforce, and the way you do that, number one, is you make your community a great place to live. And that's why I'm in this fight, is because everything I'm doing is trying to build up wealth in the community by enticing people to, let's do things ourselves and create our own wealth and our own community and our own culture, and let's not just try to be a cookie cutter of what everything else is and hope that Google comes here, which I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. I think that if Google said they want to come here, go jump in a lake. Let's have a homegrown company. Even when the province was all excited about Oracle setting up an office in outside of Toronto with a couple thousand jobs. I mean, that took a lot of our youth that could have been creating other jobs and just. They had jobs, they lived their lives and that sort of thing, but it's not really conducive to the future, that sort of thing, when you depend on, if we're going to sit around and expect foreign companies to come here and provide us our wealth and our prosperity. So anyway, it's really out of character for me to be fighting against something, but it's been fun so far, a little bit. But anyway, I've been going around, I've been talking to hundreds of business owners, signing them up, and I'll just give you, because just based on the questions that came up here, the ultimate authority about where the casinos go is through the Minister of Finance. And so the OLG is the Ontario government, is an Ontario government organization under the authority of the Minister of Finance. In the Casino Corporation Act, the province has to have the permission of City Council to put a casino in a community. So in the Casino Corporation Act, it just says the people who want to put the casino, the OLG, have to have the permission of council. Council has to convey that permission to the Minister of Finance, and it's not written, but it's implied in a lot of their other things, material that they have to have the permission of the community to do so. And that's generally done through, on the business side, through the BIAs in the communities and the Chamber of Commerce, which every place that has a casino, they've had the support of the businesses. And how they got that or whatever, how that happens, well, who knows. But anyway, what I'd like to do is just give you the, as far as stopping the casino, council could pass a resolution tomorrow and stop it. Our next council could pass a resolution and stop it. This idea that there's some sort of legal obligation now is ridiculous. What happened in 2012 was the council passed a unanimous resolution in 2012 supporting the development of a casino in Sudbury, and then had the required public information session where it was basically a propaganda campaign with a lot of information from the OLG saying things like, well, Ontario, we only extract $150 a year per person from gambling, when in the rest of Canada the average is $300. So we're way behind. We've got to fix that. Stuff like that. So it wasn't really producing, giving an objective information about casinos, and that's what, the constant barrage of stuff from, every time the casino gives the city $600,000, they don't, everyone says, wow, the city got $600,000 this quarter, but they don't say that it was $12 million lost to gambling in our community by mostly seniors at the slots. And, a lot of people think, well, seniors want to do that, that's great and everything, but that really does affect innovation too, because, the number one financer of business startups isn't banks and things, it's family. And if your family members are losing money gambling, well, that's one less, Walter Siglo, that may have his chance to take a run at things. But anyway, I'm just going to give a very quick presentation on, basically, I'm just going to show you what I'm telling the business people. So you hopefully they'll get it as far as, why, I think we, as a business community, what we have to do to grow business, and how the casino is the opposite of what we should be doing. So who are we? Well, we're a bunch of business people, myself and several others, who are going around talking to other business people and basically providing objective information about casinos. And this information comes from a lot of sources. All the information on the website, by the way, is it's all backed up there. There's references for everything. That's my company. On Track is a manufacturing company. My foundation is a Fortin Foundation. We buy equipment for schools. We support Eat Local and a whole bunch of things. And then the Fortin, the Discovery Lab is the big thing, where we built this whole factory. And we went to all the universities in Ontario to the graduating engineering classes and said, hey, if you want to start a business making something in Canada, come up here, you can use the factory for free. And when you look at, when you want to make something in Canada, when I started my business, it was the Wild West. You could do whatever you wanted. You didn't need safety or EMC approvals now there's rules and a lot of requirements that are expensive to get passed for you to actually make something. You can't sell anything in the US with electronics in it without an FCC approval. You can't sell it in Europe without a CE approval. Well, the product may cost you $1,000 to make a prototype or make a few parts, but certification is $30,000, $40,000. So in the lab, they can do it for free. That's just one of the things in the lab. We have a full certification facility, and then we also have all the manufacturing parts. But anyway, next slide. Oh, you can't really see this very well. By the way, I'm going to put out all the slides here. They're all in these. Just take one paper. It's got the slides on both sides when you go. I wouldn't just take them if you're interested in them. And they're all online on the webpage too. So anyway, casinos. Now Sudbury's very different from other communities in that we are a remote community. As much as some people don't think we are, we're remote, and I'm happy about that. All the casinos in southern Ontario have millions of people within an hour and a half. And there are no exceptions to that, except for the casinos in northern Ontario, the Sioux and Thunder Bay. So Thunder Bay is actually a really good place to look at what was the economic effect of a casino, because they put one in there in 2000. There was a casino a half an hour down the road where they were losing $25 million a year to gambling, they estimated, with their citizens driving to this casino and gambling and then coming back to town. So they decided to put a casino, which they opened in the year 2000. Thankfully, there was a fellow in town who wasn't that excited about this development, decided to record what happened. And so we have all the economic data of what happened in Thunder Bay during this process. One of the pieces of data in the first graph there is showing all the chamber businesses. They were polled every year and asked them, what economic effect do you think the casino was having? When the casino opened in 2000, you can see it was 70-some% for it, 30% against it, and then every year that number just switched until 6 years later, 90% of businesses were against the casino. And what happened was their gambling losses went from 25 million to 50 million. And if you look at Thunder Bay, where are they going to draw tourists from? They're going to, around Thunder Bay within an hour and a half, there's 12,000 people. And I just want to say around Sudbury, within an hour and a half, we have 65,000 people. 50,000 are in North Bay, which are going to get their own casino. It's already zoned. It can't be stopped. Now, so this just shows the business sentiment. It went from, oh my God, this is great, to, oh my God, this is crazy. And over half of them now still want to see, would like to see the casino closed. But there is no mechanism for that. And why did this happen? Well, look at the next graph, and this was a survey done with lots of respondents, 1,800 respondents, something like that. They basically went to the casinos in the northern communities and said, where are you from? Why are you here? 90% were local in the Thunder Bay casino. 10% were from the surrounding communities. But of that 10%, only 2% came specifically for the casino. See, all the casinos put in very nice restaurants. They tend to be very competitively priced just to draw people in. That's the whole thing with a casino. See, when you go to a casino, you generally leave, your pockets are empty and your belly's full, and that's why it doesn't really help out the surrounding businesses. So in Thunder Bay, they lost a lot of their restaurants, and they lost a lot of jobs in the community. And go to the website, there's lots more data there. And the next one here just shows, the casinos, how many people around, within an hour and a half. And the OLG even admits that, the whole goal of the casino, this idea of putting casinos everywhere, so people don't have to travel to go to casinos. And which, even our councillors agree that this isn't going to bring a lot of tourists into town, the casino. So everything that's going to be lost or spent in the casino, including the 3 restaurants, has to come from existing businesses. There may be a little bit of a tourism associated with it, but Sudbury does pretty good with tourists right now. We got 1.2 million tourists a year, spending $170 million, which that may sound like a giant number, but the most of our tourists are people coming from Espanola once a week to going to Costco to buy toilet paper and chicken. So that's the bulk of our tourists. We only get about 200 and some thousand business tourists a year, and the other big bulk of our tourists are family coming here to visit. So, but we're doing pretty good as a tourist go, but we have nowhere near the capacity to draw any more people than, you look at, geez, I don't have the numbers here, I can't read that. You got one sheet? 3 million. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I got one here. I should have my glass. I can't see you guys. You guys are all very attractive right now because out of focus. So, what do we have here? This one here, okay. Yeah, so you look at, Windsor 1.9 million, Aurelia 2.6, Niagara Falls 3 million plus, Thunder Bay 14,000, Sudbury 65,000. Are people going to fly? Are they going to drive past Casino Ramada to come here? Are they going to drive from the Sioux to come here? Well, no, they have a casino. So anyway, there's this whole idea that this casino is going to bring in tourism is a bit of a ridiculous thing. Go to the next slide, please. And here's another thing, when looking through all the data in all the casino community, I was trying to find out, what really happens? How can this amount of money be taken out of a community? What effect does it have on wealth? And I know a lot of people are here because of social concerns, gambling problems, poverty, homelessness, and these sorts of things. Almost all problems are related to our economic. I mean, the more money people have in their pockets, the happier they are. I mean, money doesn't buy happiness, of course, but I mean, a lot of the ills are because of economics. So, it's if you make more money, you generally tend to be healthier. If you're healthier, you tend to be, a little more all there, and things just seem to work out better in your life. But not that it's could go the other way too, I suppose. But anyway, we looked at all the casino communities, all the data, and one thing we found was shocking was that the average household income, which is the total income, so what they do for the communities is to get this number is take all the money made in the community divided by the number of households. That takes into account unemployed, part-time, full-time, everything. So on average, how much does a household have? And what we found in the casino communities is that they all had they're in the lower tier. So you look at Casino Rama, which everyone talks about so much, as this great, we want a piece of that action. Well, it has this, the perceived, economic nirvana, but in reality, the people in Aurelia, they make, I think, $19,000 less per household than in Sudbury. They're 7th from the bottom out of 105 municipalities. This is one of the poorest communities in the province. And they have the biggest single casino in the province. Also Windsor, which is the first casino. So casinos were brought to Ontario in the early 90s to combat, the American casinos on the other side. And I think the government realized, holy jeepers, we're making a lot of money off this. They decided to expand it, and now they're putting them in every town. But anyway, and there are no exceptions. They're all in the lower tier of income. By the way, Sudbury would be the highest average income community to ever agree to put a casino in their community. It's never been done with a community that's doing as well as us before. And I think that's why it's such an attractive place to put a casino, is because there is a lot of wealth here. I had one comment on, I hate the Facebook stuff, but one guy commented, he says, geez, we make a lot of money in Sudbury, we can afford to gamble. But anyway, the bottom line is that when you put a casino in a community, the communities, there's no evidence that the casinos bring economic prosperity to the people living in the community. And there's no question about that. I'm not going to say casinos cause their poverty and that sort of thing, because the casinos tend to show up in places where things aren't looking so good, like Niagara Falls. They used to have, in the 70s, there was 12,000 GM employees. I think they're down to 500, just slowly ebbing away. And so they were leaning on their tourism, so they put the casinos in there. But Aurelia is kind of a cool one, because they weren't really that desperate. There's some reasonable manufacturing there. There's there's an aerospace industry there. There's a Kubota plant that makes all kinds of parts for a Kubota plant. OPP headquarters there. There's 1,400 employees. So there's a lot of. It's been very steady. And in Aurelia, there was no real economic shock that. So why did they put the casino there? Well, it's a bit of politics. Let's look at the next slide, but we won't look at this one too long because I don't want to talk for half an hour. But we do have figures, and if you want to go to the website, it's showing that when the casino was put in there, that the average income, and these are the full-time wages in Aurelia, when the rest of the province went up by 2.9% over a 10-year period from 1996 to 2006. It went up 2.9 for men and 6.8 for women, because that was all the wage equity stuff from the government, so women were getting bigger raises than men. In Aurelia, the wages dropped by 8% for both men and women, 7.9 and 8.1, something like that, over that 10-year period. And there really wasn't a lot of things going on, so why did wages drop? Well, they created more jobs, but they were lower-paying jobs. Like the tourist industry is not a high-paying industry. Another thing we did, too, in all the communities was, can you go to the next slide? Okay, well, I'll get to that. Another thing we did was we looked in the casino communities, in Aurelia in particular, and we have all the data showing all the companies that are open, that are operating there now, how many employees they have, and what year did they open. And we looked at how many companies were started in Aurelia since the casino opened that have 10 or more employees, and there's two. One is an LED sign manufacturer, started in 1998, and a call center from 2013. Now that's in manufacturing. I'm not talking about, there's been a lot of hotels, a lot of fast food, a lot of that sort of stuff, but as far as homegrown businesses, there really hasn't been much. Typically with casino towns, you don't attract, the engineer types, these types of things, and that's evident. Like you look at, where are all the innovative companies in Ontario? Are there any of the casino towns? Nope. But anyway, as far as numbers, people are asking, one fellow was asking about, this 2.5 million that the city's claiming to get. Well, that 2.5 million is what they're claiming to get in addition to the 2.5 they roughly get now from the slots. And so that's what this graph is here, and that's on the website. And this shows you the basic numbers behind the casino, and I'll just quickly go over them. I'm going to try and get through this quickly so that I can take guidance from you and take questions. So the expected gambling losses, the slots right now loses $49 million a year, and of that $49 million, so that's how much is lost to gambling. And you know, there's no mechanism to close the slots. Think about it though, if it was closed, all of a sudden our seniors, because it's mostly seniors in there, have $49 million in their pockets. Think about the opportunity for business people. Think about the chance to re-engage seniors in the community. You know, like you got all these things going on downtown, these festivals and that. I've been to movie festivals and the place is half empty. Why aren't we sending buses to pick them up? If the casino could send buses, why don't we have an organization that's getting seniors involved in the community? You know, there's a real opportunity to, I don't think we have to make it closed, but just by making a concerted effort to re-engage seniors and get them involved in so many aspects of our community that we could probably put the thing out of business. But whatever, that's the next fight. Not really. The next fight is I'm going to camp. Okay, so 50 million lost there now. About 30 million ends up going to the province and to the casino operator. Actually, about 32, 34 million. The new casino, is it going to double? Yeah, because when we have a new casino, we're talking about adding card tables, roulette, and these sorts of things. And these things appeal to a different demographic than slot machines. So it's a much wider demographic. So we're going to basically create a whole bunch of new gamblers. And so will it bring the revenue? Will it double the revenue? Yeah, I think you could pretty safely say that. Will it triple it? I doubt it. You know, so we have the range there going from 100 to 150, but realistically, I'd say 100 to 120. But anyway, the city's take is 5%. Now, they get 5%, and even that number is misleading because the city only gets 5% of the slot revenue. They don't get revenue from the card tables and that sort of thing, or if they do, it's a much smaller percentage. So if 100 million is lost there, they're not going to be even getting 5% of that. It's going to be less than that. And what that number is, well, that's shrouded in mystery, but it's going to be less. And then
are these figures different from the sheet you're handing out?
Okay, I'll explain that. The sheet I'm handing out was done about 4 years ago. This one here has been updated to show with information that we now have. We just got from the. I should have explained that from the oil G and from the operator. So when we originally did this in 2013. The casino operator was expected to be paying for the arena or whatever facility they were going to add to it. But it turns out that that's not the case. We're paying the $100 million for the amenity that the casino is going to be placed beside. So we had to adjust the capital expenditure on it. We also had more accurate figures for the job, so we know it's going to have 3 restaurants, 250 employees. So the numbers all just became more accurate. And because there wasn't that large capital expenditure, the cut for the operator, of course, is much greater, and for the province. So these numbers are the current numbers, and on the web page when you go there, it says these have been updated. Yeah, those handouts are from last month. So anyway, of the 150 million, the city gets us 5%. We pay some expenses, property taxes, that sort of thing, and then you can see how much money is expected to go to the province and the operator. And this is everything is all backed up on the web page. We have the RFPs from the OLG, so the documents used to do these calculations. We have all the news articles from the council making statements about how much they spend, and it seems to change every time they speak about it, but these numbers are pretty accurate. So if you look at the money to be lost in gambling, the money that leaves every year is enough to build a casino or build an arena every year that we're building. You know, and so even in the article in the paper I was criticized about, you know, the casino is the biggest problem, and I believe that, because the arena, I think, putting it out there is $100 million a year, but the casino putting it out there is $100 million a year error. So, eesh. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, and this is just my, you know, this is what I'm talking to most of the people I'm talking to. I'm focusing on manufacturers and these sorts of things. that if you want to grow your economy, and have manufacturing and innovation, that sort of thing, you just have to make your community a great place to live. And that means culture, diversity, all these things that everyone always talks about. And that's not what happens when you put a casino in town. All the money that's going to be spent in there is money that won't be spent in our existing thing we have going now, which I think is pretty great. I love downtown. And, well, a lot of things around town too. So, okay, next slide. So we went around to, we've signed up hundreds of companies. We've got a big announcement coming later at the end of this week about another significant endorsement. And our goal or what we're planning on doing is signing up as many companies as possible and then appealing to the minister to show them that the business community really is not behind the casino, and hold them to their word that they say that if the community isn't behind the casino, we won't build the casino. Because alternative to that are legal means, which are expensive and not very fun. Okay, the next slide. So there's a website. It's casinofreesudbury.com, and all the information that I've shown you, those slides plus additional slides are there, and all the backed up information. On there there's also a place to download or to get from me here now. If any of you own businesses, the more we get, the better. We're going to be going to Queen's Park the first week of March before the legislature lets out for March break to present our petitions to the minister. We're starting off with letters and chatting and that sort of thing, but the official press event will be the first week of March, where we're going to go and appeal to the Minister of Finance. So there. So let's have a few. Thank you.
You can line up behind each other.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Vicki.
January 22nd, my understanding is the city is putting on the table the rezoning application for the arena and the casino at the same time, so it's a much quicker move to rezoning than you can see for any other development in the city. So that is an opportunity for people who don't like the decision or are concerned about the decision to make a presentation to the planning committee at that time. Did you want to speak to that at all?
Sure, yeah. This is a large project, so it's a little bit different as far as the planning committee goes. It's a two-step process for this one, which is a little different. And what that means is, instead of submitting the project to the planning committee and then council voting on it the next day, they submit it to council, and there's a 30-day waiting period, and then there's another planning committee meeting for a statutory day, which is where the public is allowed to comment on it. So we're all going to get to look at it for 30 days, the final proposal, and that'll include all the things like the project justification reports, the traffic report, all this stuff. This has all been compiled into one big package that's going to be presented to council on the 22nd. Now, I wouldn't recommend going to the planning committee meeting and talking about, that you're an individual that I'm against gambling. I wouldn't do that. The planning committee, that's a serious thing. Like, if you have a financial interest or a serious interest, but it's not the place for the moral side of things, that's with council. So if you own a business, if you own a restaurant or anything like that, if you think you're going to be affected by the casino, by all means, I would go and stand and object. You're allowed I think it's 4 or 5 minutes or something to make your case.
What's the date again?
January 22nd is the first meeting. We don't know the date of the statutory day, but it has to be at least 30 days after that. Go ahead.
My name is Dr. Klein, and I'm a registered nurse, and I've been concerned that you've been addressing this only financial. Addictions is a health problem. There are studies actually by the health units on casinos, and that's not being brought out. And I really like that be brought out, especially if you're going to be addressing the Minister of Finance.
It will be. We have the report from the health unit from 2012 and 2013, so I have the copies.
The councillors have not really taken that, listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
I just read my councillors right up in the Sudbury Star tonight, and I am the silent public too. That she said she was speaking for the silent public in her count, and she was speaking that there was no threat from the casinos, and I don't support. I want no casino here. It has a health indication, and it isn't just people who have money that feel, or engineers that are not going to be. Addictions affect everybody, regardless of status, regardless of education, regardless of everything. And it really has an effect on our health in our community. And it isn't just financial. It is really socioeconomic detriments to health. And when people spend their money in the casino and don't have the money for their medications, don't have the money for food, miss the rent or miss whatever, then it affects all the families. And so I really want the health part of the addiction brought out when we address to the Minister of Finance. Thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead. You can clap. No, I completely agree that the social and health and economics, it's all tied together. It's all the same thing. When I talk, I'm appealing to business people. I'm trying to appeal to their bottom line as opposed to going in there and trying to appeal to their moral, whatever it is we have in our hearts. But
I just want to say that when you don't have your health, you have nothing.
oh yeah.
You can have all the money in the world, and you don't have your health, and you have nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the by the way, the report done by the health unit has been presented to council in the past, so it's basically been glossed over. It is going to be brought up again if we do end up in a legal action. But anyway.
Question?
Yeah.
Hi, a comment and a question. My name is Noreen. I own a couple of businesses with my wife in town. One of which is a catering firm. We used to do quite a bit of catering for OLG. I had the misfortune to be in town for it, signing me up to be one of the supporters of the casino, for instance.
Thanks, Norm.
So I probably lost my contract once they saw operations on the parts so I'm not there. So I'd like to thank you for that.
The rest of us will support you.
Yeah, well, it's their loss, quite frankly. As we were coming in tonight, we all got checked off on a checklist. Mr. Lund was checking us off to do a head count to see how many people actually show up here tonight. If you are a business owner, I would suggest that you support it for all these reasons, the good thoughts that you guys are doing tonight. But as individual citizens, I think we covered quite a bit from the last speaker as well. I think we have to spread these things to our cohorts around town because we do have one take this cat, and I think we've got quite a bit of time left to correct this, but it behooves us to take this on. Dealing with council, we can't just say it's all for council. Mr. Big was here tonight. Mike, are you still here? He was earlier. Exactly. So I have a couple of councillors out in the South End. Fern was behind it. Mr. Big, I asked him. He basically said it's to get us up here and with that because it's a common here. One of my other businesses, I dealt with the Ontario Municipal Board, and I also dealt with Mr. Schultz, who was down championing this project with the city. I had one of my favorite things to get this project study twice. I never got a comment back over the 2 years that I was waiting for a comment. I was watching him on television the other night, he's been around in 2 months, and he's championing this project. So that's how the city bureaucrats and politicians are working both ways, sides of the stand. So enough on that, enough on my question. The one question I have is, if this does go to the OMB, I had to go through the OMB process, which took me a couple of years to do the work that I want to do with the subdivision work. And it was fairly costly, it was fairly lengthy, and some things were above the bill, but some ABC. If we don't get the way we're hoping this to go, what chances do we have with the OMB now that's changed?
Well, when you look at the arena, we're dealing with a rezoning. When you look at the casino, we're dealing with an official plan amendment and a rezoning. As far as the tribunals go, they don't apply to the official plan amendment for the casino. That's going to be OMB. So that's not going to change. And so we're going to have a pretty reasonable chance there. But there's basically we're looking at all those three events, and now the tribunals. I'm not that worried about the tribunals coming because they're going to be new. There's a lot of new legal steps, and are they going to be able to get these off the ground and get them running really quickly, or are they going to? I don't really think so. And I think if the tribunals, what they may end up doing is causing a lot of delays, which is unfortunate. But it would it would knock this down over to the next council. But yeah, we're not too concerned about the tribunals.
Question?
Yes, two quick questions.
Sure.
The first one is, on your last slide, I think it said without a casino there'll be more jobs. How will we create more jobs by not having a casino?
How do we create more jobs by not having a casino?
Yes.
Well, basically, the problem is when you put a casino in a community and you take $100 million out of a community, and then everyone's essentially, if you want to average the money out, there's less money to spend in town. So if there's less money to spend in town because of the casino taking money out, all of a sudden, how many people are willing to pay $8.50 for a beer at Rod Gregory's place? Maybe a few less. And then how many people are going to be going to the movies or to the festivals or these sorts of things? And so the casino, first of all, the casino, they say they're going to have 250 jobs. Well, right now there's 160 employees at the slots, which will be moved over there. There's also over 50 employees employed by McIsaac in that restaurant there, and they're taking care of the facility they're obviously not going over there. So how many jobs are actually going to be created by this? Maybe 30, 40 jobs. So the casino basically takes jobs away from a little bit from everybody, from the community. So without the community, without the casino, how do we create jobs? Well, just by making this a better place to live. We want young people to stay here, and I see one who, sitting down over there, said she's leaving town because there's a casino. I don't want her to leave. I want her to stay in town and grow her business and these sorts of things. As much as you think that a casino is you may maybe think it's benign, it really does change the mentality of communities. You know when you're in a casino town because your options for food are McDonald's or Harvey's, which I love McDonald's, but and Harvey's, but essentially.
My other question was, you're talking about how every casino their own engineers coming over.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it says something along the lines of if we have a casino here, the engineers won't be coming.
Well, I'm never mind engineers. That's the area I work in. So I'm just saying that, if you make a community a cool place to live with great restaurants, great entertainment, diversity, and all that sort of thing, you tend to attract an educated workforce, which tends to bring prosperity. So if we're going to grow our economy without depending on some foreign company coming here and plunking down a big office or doing whatever, we have to do it ourselves. That's the only that's what our future is. This idea that Google's going to come here, Lord thundering. Anyway.
The proper answer to this question is that this will radically alter the cash flow within the community.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
It must be spelled out.
Thank you.
Okay, even myself.
That's a third question.
Sorry, one comment.
Okay, very quick.
Even if you do or don't have a casino in here, myself, that's really here for me that makes me want to stay.
Well, you're free to leave.
Exactly. That's exactly the same thing with that person.
Yeah, but maybe there's not something here that interests you, or maybe you just have to open your eyes a bit more. That's all. I don't know. Hello.
Hi there. So my question was, what is the OLG operation in Chelmsford called? Is it not a casino?
No, it's officially it's a slot. It's not considered a casino. A casino is a facility that has slot machines. The slot machines are like a side cart kind of thing. Casinos have gambling tables, roulette, and all the other areas of gambling. So.
My question actually was what was going to happen to that if we have a casino, but I think you've answered my question, that the employees from that slot machine operation would just go to the casino, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So the slots, the 160 employees are scheduled to go to the new casino, and they'll hire a few more, I suppose.
Next. Is it reasonable to mention comments? Improper ones?
Pretty simple to do what, sorry?
Is it reasonable to mention comments, not improper ones?
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, we have to stop gambling if we want our kids to stop. We're just going to entice them to do the same. So that is something that is considered. Like just making 2 casinos, for instance, is going to suggest that we want gambling twice as much. It doesn't make sense. It's bad for our kids. There's so many things.
Yeah, you're very right, and we're not going to have 2 casinos, just one that's twice as big. And one thing about putting a large casino here is, a lot of people say, well, if we don't build a casino, everyone will go to North Bay or they'll go to Casino Rama or whatever. But if we put a casino in our community, we're far worse off than that, and that's what's happened in Thunder Bay. What we'll create is a culture of gambling, and like you said, so mom and dad go to the casino as a casual thing. We go to the hockey game, go have a beer, and then play the slot machines, and that becomes ingrained in children, and we're all the products of our youth. Sorry? Yeah, exactly. You create a culture of gambling, and just like when you put a casino in a community, you tend to increase the people going out to gamble because you create. We'll create 10 or 20,000 more people who gamble recreationally. And just like any hobby, there's always people who excel and want bigger, better, faster. I know. I used to buy snow machines with giant engines in them. And it's the same with gambling. People want to have we'll have a group of them that want to, go and gamble in Las Vegas and different places, which, I have no problem with people going away to gamble on trips because it's about the trip, not the gambling.
We have other people as well. So we want 2 questions per person, so that's your second comment. So next person, please, if we want to finish by hand.
If you don't want to hear my stuff, then...
We'll listen to that first. We have a chance later on. Because we have 2 other speakers.
Hi there, my name is Eric. The reason I came tonight, I don't know if it's anybody else, I am a recovering compulsive gambler, so I know what it's about. I know what it's like to have a casino in your community and being drawn to that venue. I used to live in Ottawa. There was a casino maybe 5 kilometers away from where I live. And it is, for somebody that has a gambling addiction, having a casino right in your community is a huge draw. And I think we need to look more at the social aspects. We are talking about all the financial aspects, and that's huge as well, but the social aspects are even more important in my opinion. I know myself, I lost everything. I had to start back from zero and rebuild again. And it's not easy going through that. And it's going to create more social problems in our community. And is that something that we really want? As a city of Sudbury, do we want to go through that? Do we want to be generating money off the backs of our innocent citizens? And to people that say, well, you know what, gambling is a choice. Well, it may be a choice the first time you go to that casino. But when you get drawn in and you get sucked in, it's no longer a choice. It's an addiction like anything else, like alcoholism, like drug addiction. And I don't want that in my backyard. And I don't think anybody else here should be encouraging that. It's nothing that's going to be good for our community. This isn't something good. Casinos are built to take money out of people's pockets, plain and simple. And that is the job of a casino.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
The next speakers will be. I'm the business guy, so I'm trying to just show them what I'm doing about the economics, and the other arguments will be presented by the next people.
And I just have one question. I think it's great that we are having this forum here tonight to speak about it, but I think
Who's your counselor?
Yeah, so that's the thing is, you're right. And we were talking to the converted here. And so the number one thing you have to do is talk to your friends, talk to your family, just get the word out. And if we do this again, we get twice as many people. And that's the only thing.
You know that? You're up there talking, and that's going to get everybody else talking.
Yeah.
The goal is to see the biggest businesses in your community. Whether it's, let's say it's Dave. As an example, Dave Construction is 100% against it. And then get them to call Robert Kerwin. Look to the biggest businesses in your community and some of the most socially active people and get them to call the council.
Thank you. Thank you. Next. And thank you for sharing that with me.
Does anyone know, can anyone answer this question? Why does Casino Rama bring their people by bus to the casino? I can tell you why. In the first months of Casino Rama, a guy lost a lot of money. He went into his car and blew his bike there. The other thing I want to point out is, why isn't there a system, a jurisdiction in the Bahamas? They don't allow the local people to gamble at the casino. That's a big red flag.
Yeah. Thank you. Next one.
Hi, my name is Marie, born and raised in Sudbury. Tom.
Hi, Marie.
Thank you for giving up this fight. And hi, Jerry. It's nice to see you again. Just a couple of clarifications, if I might. And I'm going to read my own notes.
Sure.
Because I can't read my own writing sometimes, as Jerry might remember. This is scribbling away. Two questions. Mike, okay. Is the arena proposal contingent? Forget my ignorance on this. Okay. Is it contingent on the casino?
It's not in the proposal, but there's been many public comments that without the casino, the arena won't go there. But now I'm starting to see other comments that maybe something else can go there in the casino's place if the casino gets stopped. But we really don't know. Yeah. The casino, I think, was the driving factor. The owner of the property in 2013 applied to rezone for a casino and then had troubles with that, I guess, and dropped that. And so now they're back with a casino and an arena. I don't think the arena makes any sense there without a casino, simply because it's a piece of civic infrastructure. It's people complain our arena loses $500,000 a year. I think that's pretty darn good, because an arena is like streets and lights and things. It's all the things we need to make our community great. And we're not like Southern Ontario, where you can draw, where the communities compete with each other. Like in Alliston, they got this arena, hotel and all this. You can have weddings there and all that sort of thing. Well, they got like 2 million people within an hour of the place. So if they do something cool, they can monetize it. We can't. We're remote. And so whatever we build is for us. And so it's going to lose money. Oh, well, so what? We have our Canada Day, we have our thing, we have our, whatever we do. An arena in Sudbury is never going to make money. And I'm okay with that.
Okay, so are we talking about the arena now, or are we talking about a casino?
Well, I'm talking about a casino, but if we stop the casino, it will probably cause a lot of. I don't think the arena will be built out there, ultimately.
Okay, thank you for your honesty on that.
Well, of course I'm honest. Yeah.
My second question would be.
You just ask me directly.
It is. That's a great question. Direct answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you allude to having a fight, and you're fighting. And I went to your website. I hadn't seen it before. Forgive my ignorance.
Yeah, no worries.
And the first line in there says the chamber doesn't support it.
The chamber doesn't support?
Doesn't support the cause.
No, they don't. No.
Or stop the casino cause.
Yeah, no, the chamber is here to statement they support the casino in Sudbury.
They are supporting the casino. And Ruby just commented that the Dade company is opposing this. Big opponent of you guys, of the movement, okay, of the petition.
They're against the casino.
They're against the casino.
Yes. They're against having a casino in Sudbury.
So they're with this movement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I misunderstood. Okay. So that was my question. Just that.
Okay.
As I was sitting here. So the question is, so what is the main argument for the chamber to not support
This movement?
the no casino? Yes.
Yeah, I know. I've asked them to let me know. They had basically in 2013 they had a casino task force, and which they've never released, the results of their task force. All they came out with a statement saying we support a casino provided it comes with some amenity, and.
OLG is the largest single contributor to the Chambers of Commerce in the province of Ontario.
Thank you.
Yeah. Of course.
Can I just answer that? I'm just going to interrupt since I was on the Casino Task Force Committee, much to their chagrin.
You were?
I was. Oh. And they actually wrote a letter to me saying that whereas the establishment of expanded casino and multi-purpose facility in the greater city of Sudbury creates opportunities for economic development within our community, therefore be it resolved that the Greater Sudbury Chamber of Commerce supports the establishment of an expanded casino as part of a broader multi-purpose facility in Greater Sudbury, provided that the annual contribution quarterly payment under an amended and reinstated municipal contribution agreement is tracked and pledged, this is their condition, to capital projects and not part of the operating budget. And I'm going to tell you, they did a study and they surveyed a whopping 275 chamber members. The last week in August. Where were you the last week in August? Camp. Where was I? On vacation. So I have more than 275 signatures on our petition from chamber members. John was a chamber member. They wouldn't even, John Lindsay, did John leave already? They wouldn't, oh there you are, honey. And they got quite aggressive when we wanted to just share our discussion about people. And we have some people from the chamber, Vicky, and a few, I saw, where was the other gentleman that was with the chamber? He just resigned over the issue.
Oh, Andre Dumas.
Andre.
Is he still here?
There he is.
Oh.
And so, anyhow, that's the chamber position. It was based on a survey, and David Boyce, I remember David Boyce saying, oh, it was overwhelming support in our survey for the casino. I said, overwhelming support? You had 58%. I wouldn't have passed my CA exam with 58%. Like, give me a break, David. And by the way, I have the survey and the report. Only 8% of those surveyed supported one on the casino, on the Kingsway, rather, the multi-purpose facility. Like, I have the report, and I have the resolution. I was on the committee.
This is all on the website.
I can give it to you to put on the website.
The survey's on there.
Your survey's on the website?
No, that survey.
Oh, on the Chamber's website, not on our website. And so again, surveys are flawed. Did anyone remember that the night before the U.S. election, 99% accuracy that Hillary was supposed to win? Anyone remember that? Yeah. You should see what Charlie Munger said about people that run casinos and whether or not they should be running the country.
So how many chamber members do we have?
840 companies, but there's 2,200 or so individuals. Because a lot of companies have multiple individuals.
So 270 signed for the casino?
No, 169 or something like that work for it.
They surveyed?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're going to dance when we do this, Tom. 275 people were included in the survey. Okay, that's it. And only 58% of them, this overwhelming majority, apparently, supported it. if it was all these benefits.
One quick question there, the next one. Thank you.
Very quick.
I just want to say that I am the co-chair of the Synergy Committee in Sudbury, which since 2009 has been working to create a multi-purpose facility. We now call it the Greater Sudbury Conference and Performance Center. So let me be very clear. We have never, ever been party to having a multi-purpose facility in this city as part of the casino. And I would walk away from the table tomorrow if that was ever on the table. If you've ever been to Rama and you want to go and see a show, you walk through the slot machines to get to the show. You don't bring your daughter there for a dance recital. You don't have the school band performing at the end of the year. It's not a community facility. So this notion of a multi-purpose facility or a performance facility at a casino is not a community facility, and we are not part of it.
Thank you. Last question. Could get closer to the microphone, please?
You can't leave God out of the economics. He's the foundation of it. Now, the first principle of God's word is that man has a great nature, giving one choice in perfection. Gamblers, liquor lords, porn providers are all predators on human rights.
And your questions about the casino?
It's just a statement.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
This is against God. And you have to first address this before going to emphasis on economics, because economics without honoring God is not fail.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How am I doing time-wise? So our next presenter is Cathy Orlando. Cathy?
Thank you everyone for staying till 8:30. This is great. I'm only going to be about 5 minutes. I think there should be politicians in the room listening to each and every one of you. I mean, there's a reason why. There's a hunger in this room to speak. It's because you've never been heard. So thank you for speaking. If you've read the yellow sheet, you'll know I'm from Niagara Falls. I grew up there, but actually my great-grandparents are buried here in Sudbury. So I'm going to talk about the impact of the proximity of casinos to gambling problems. That's my main point. I'm just going to highlight a couple statistics. You're going to learn a couple words, and then I'm going to tell you a story. Have you ever heard of what the winner's circle is? Yeah. The winner's circle is you get this little badge and you get a discount on food at the casino and all that sort of stuff. Well, at the casino near Woodbine, 10% of the community belong to the winner's circle. So think of all the money that's being taken out of local restaurants, or people going and eating cheap food at the winner's circle. Do you know what the self-exclusion list is? Yeah, you're part of it? I'm going to sign myself up for it, actually, because I come from a highly addictive family, and I am terrified of this casino coming to our community. I am in the process of getting signed up for it. 1% of people within a 30-minute drive of a casino are on the self-exclusion list. For most people, unlike myself, they usually have to hit rock bottom before they go there. So they've burnt out a lot of their money, and they're at rock bottom, and they're desperate, and so they go and get on the self-exclusion list. And if it basically means your face is recognized and you can't get into a casino, I'm just going to keep going. So those are a couple statistics. The closer you are to live to a casino, the more likely there are to be problems. Lastly, Australia is a giant case study for the impact of casinos on our country. They have the highest number of casinos and poker games in the world. They have 20% of them. They're a country smaller than Canada. They have 20% of the poker machines in the world. They have basically deregulated casinos in their country. And some communities have pushed back, and those communities that do not have these poker machines and casinos have a 25% less rate of family violence. And so, I mean, this is going to increase problems. And lastly, I just want to share a personal story. I am from Niagara Falls. I grew up there. And when the casino came to Sudbury, to Niagara Falls, I remember my parents talking about it, and a couple family friends lost everything. And it was pretty devastating to know these people their whole lives, and then, you know, they were part of our community, they ate in our house, and then they died lonely and miserable. They were so humiliated by losing absolutely everything. Lastly, a more personal story, which is more recent, and it keeps being brought up. Older adults are one of the targets of these casinos, and all of my family is in Niagara region, and all of my extended family. I'm almost all Catholic, and we're very fertile, so there's a lot of family there. Okay. So one of the older adults in my giant extended family developed dementia between 2011 and 2015. And when her family finally got a hold of her bank account, oh yes, and she belonged to the winner's circle at the Niagara Casino, there was no money left. Was it the casino? Was it the sibling who was taking care of the mother? Do you want that in your family? It hurts. So, I am so glad these people are here tonight telling us it's not over. Everyone needs to call your counselor. Tell them you do not want a casino in this community. The social impacts are huge. They're not even measured. Tom's not even measuring them when he's telling us those numbers. Those are huge. And, you know, at least the generation above us had pensions. My generation, most of us don't. So you lose everything at our age. You lose everything. At least this woman still had her pension. So, please, I beg you to call your counselor tomorrow. I beg you to get 5 friends to call your counselor. I called my counselor 5 days before that vote. I got my medical doctor husband to call him. And guess what my counselor voted in June? He voted against that casino on the Kingsway. Anyways, you have power. You are far more powerful than you can imagine. Please call. That's all you need to do. I hope I didn't overwhelm you with my energy. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our last presenter is Christopher Duncanson Hale. Christopher? Or Chris for short.
Thank you very much. It's really great to be here. It's great to see everyone out here today. Why am I here? I was on the radio this morning. I was asked that question. I'm not a politician. I'm a precariously employed faculty member at the University of Sudbury. I teach in philosophy. I teach some ethics. I can read journals. I've read some of the evidence. I've read some of the journal articles, and everything that's been said here is all backed by science. It's backed by facts. The reason I'm here is in this morning's paper, as already alluded to. I live in Ward 11. I live on 2nd Avenue in Wiltshire, which is about 2 kilometers from where the casino is going to be. And my counselor said today, opponents of the casino seem motivated by the fact they simply don't like casinos. The arguments are vague and based on their personal beliefs. That's just not true. And I'm here because I don't have a voice at council now, because my counselor has abdicated her representation of me. And so it's my responsibility now, when my voice has been taken away, to come out and give my voice out and say why I'm against this casino. And it's why you people are here today, too. We haven't been consulted about the casino. The social impact has been spoken about. The health impacts have been spoken about. The health unit did an impact study that was completely ignored. The consultation came after the vote, so I'm not sure how you can say you had consultation when it was after the vote for what you're supposed to be consulted about. And the location where it's being suggested now is not where it was when we were consulted in the first place. The bulk of the people who went to the public open house wanted to save horse racing. And the city staff writes that in the report, that they want the casino because it's going to save horse racing. Well, it didn't save horse racing, and now they're moving it onto the Kingsway. We've heard that if you live within 50 miles of a casino, it increases the chance of gambling addiction. You're twice as likely to be susceptible to gambling addiction. Within that area of Minnow Lake, this casino is being put 2.5 kilometers from social housing. Some of the most marginalized and vulnerable people in our community are going to be practically within walking distance of the casino. We heard about the impact on seniors. This casino is being put approximately 2.8 kilometers from Finlandia. So you're not going to need, the casino's not going to need a bus to go. There's going to be a direct bus from Finlandia to the casino. And these are things I don't think the council in 2012 considered, and I don't think these things that our councillors are considering today. And I think it's important that we have this consultation, that these facts be brought to their attention, and that this decision be reversed. I said when God was invoked that I'll cover that. I'm a Catholic, I'm a Roman Catholic theologian, that's what my training is. And I think it's important that we're having this secular function in the church. And in the Catholic Church, we have a phrase about when people come together, and we say we gather to scatter. And so we've gathered here tonight. We've gathered here to hear your voices. You've gathered here to hear us. But where we go from here is we scatter. And where do we scatter to? We scatter to write letters to the editor. We scatter to call our councillors. We scatter to talk about this with our friends and family. And so I overheard the councillor who was here when he was being interviewed saying, well, maybe it's a little too little too late. And I say, that's a real betrayal of democracy. It's never too little too late. The people's voices are important. There's an election coming, and we have to stand up and say, at least consult, and at least look at the evidence. And if you're going to go ahead, pig-headed with it anyway, then you're going to have to show us where are you going to cover the cost of the increase to addiction. How much more money are you going to give to the St. Alphonsus Food Bank at Holy Redeemer to cover the people who can't pay or the mothers who, because let's say their husband spent the grocery money. It's not even their fault. So thank you for coming, and as I said, we gathered to scatter.
We've asked people who want to come up and speak to put their name. John Lindsay is going to speak with seniors. John. And he promised 2 minutes.
Actually, I think I already need that 2 minutes because our panel has done such a fantastic job in presenting, giving us an overview of the situation. Ruby called me, it was about 3 years ago now, right, when this journey began. I did, yeah, 2013, my golly. And we set up a website which is nocasinosudbury.ca. And Tom has his website, which is casinofreesudbury.ca. I urge you to go on both of those websites, and one more as well too, because I'm speaking on behalf of Friendly to Seniors. It's an organization here in town that represents all us old folks, the ones that are, as has been explained tonight, have been victimized by casinos in particular. They're a target audience for casinos. And if you go on our website, it's friendlytoseniors.ca. And on that website, you'll see a lot of information and also some other sources of information too. And I think what the problem is that our counselors are very busy people. They have a terrific workload. They have to cover a lot of area, a lot of material, a lot of decisions. And the fact is they haven't had the opportunity to really examine the question. And I think that once people do their research, do the examination, study what a casino does to a community, the negative aspects, then they change their mind. I know that Fern Cormier, before the last election, I called him and he said, I'm totally in favor of a casino. And I said, Fern, do some research. And he came back and he said, John, I've done a lot of research on this, and I've gone into not only Canada, but into the States. Casinos are dying. Casinos are not a viable business going forward. He says, I'm not in favor of a casino. Now, what happened? As you know, the casino was approved by the previous council. So what do we have to do? We have to get to these individuals and tell them to take a closer look, to do that examination, to look at the independent studies that have been done, not just those from those of us who are obviously concerned about what it's doing to not only our senior population, but as someone mentioned, what does it do to those coming up after us, the younger generation? This information is out there. This information is valid. This information will show you, and you are perhaps the converted, it's true, but we have to let other people know. Now, our organization has people who are gamblers. Now, they call themselves recreational gamblers, and I believe they are in most part. They go to Casino-Rama, they spend their $20, and they have the free meal, and they come back. Now, as I said, we have people in our organization who do that. So, we can't say let's abolish gambling completely, because we have some of us, not myself personally, but some who do that recreationally, and that's fine. But it's those who are at risk, those seniors who are spending far too much time and far too much money. Just one story, just a personal story. Thunder Bay, I have a relative in Thunder Bay who works in that casino. So we had the opportunity to drop into the casino in Thunder Bay. Go to Thunder Bay. I know Essa went to Sault Ste. Marie. Maybe the same situation. Thunder Bay is a pretty sad example of what a casino can do to a community. I've been to casinos internationally. I've been to casinos coast to coast on business. I like going to casinos because I like seeing just what crazy places they really are. Some of them in Niagara Falls last year, I got into a casino, I couldn't get out. I couldn't find my way out of the place because they have it designed so you really can't escape easily. But so I went into the Thunder Bay Casino and I was talking to one of the employees, and so they said to me, John, you know what this place is? And they said, okay, what is it? It's a daycare center for seniors. And that's all that were there, seniors and Aboriginal, being Thunder Bay having a large Aboriginal population. So I went out to one of the local restaurants and I said, how many people from the casino come to your restaurant? And they said, are you crazy? No one comes to our restaurant, why would they? I went to breakfast the next day to another restaurant. I said, how many people have breakfast here from the casino? And they said, why would they when they can get it for $1.50 in the casino? Casinos are traps. You go to a casino, you don't get out, at least with your money. So finally, I would suggest, and I know that Ruby got me involved because I'm in the financial industry as well too, but before that I was a newspaper and TV reporter, and the job of a reporter is to investigate, at least it should be. We don't have too many investigative reporters now because our news media has been decimated. We don't have people who really go out there and dig the story. But when I was in the business, we went out and dug up the story, and we examined all aspects of the story, the pros and the cons, because that's what we were required to do. So when Ruby said, take a look at this, that's what I did. I went out and I looked at all aspects possible. What are the pros and what are the cons? And I think con is the word, because we are being conned. Our council was conned. The vast majority of our population has been conned. You are the people that can go out there now and reverse this decision. There are so many holes in what has happened up to this particular date, both at the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the longest serving member on the Chamber of Commerce. I'm almost ashamed to say that, because if it wasn't for the fact, as I think John mentioned, the Chamber receives most of their revenue from membership from the casino, the OLG. The OLG sponsors the mayor's speech at the Chamber each and every year. You'll see the OLG at every event here with their spinning wheel. You'll see them giving out tickets for people. This is a plague on our community, and it's our responsibility to do everything we can to save our community for our future. Some of us are going to be gone because we're the seniors. You know, there's those of us 80 years and up. We're not going to be here that long. But our children, our grandchildren are going to be here, and we should be doing it for us. Thank you very much.
Just a couple of closing remarks. I want to thank and congratulate Tom, Christopher, Ruby, and Cathy for taking the leadership on this, and this is what this community needs, more leadership. So I think we all need to go out and do what they suggest. First thing you should do is sign the postcards and we'll send it to your counselor for you. Call 311 and ask to speak to your counselor, and tell your counselor in no other word, but we do not want a casino in this city, period. And thirdly, subscribe to Sudbury Star and Northern Life. Write letters to the editor. If you've never done it, it's quite an experience to see your letter in the newspaper and your words there. Send letters to the editor. You've been there. You've written a lot of letters, oh yeah. But it's very important to do so. And I want you all to be leaders for this community and do that. Social Planning Council, I thought you guys are going to get on board as well, I'm sure, if you're not already there. And the seniors are there as well, so we need to get every organization, every health organization on side. So thank you very much for coming out and for braving the weather. Did I forget something?
A group photo.
Oh, group photos. So everyone come up, we're going to have a group photo. Yeah, group photo, absolutely. Who wants to be the photo? Come on now. What do you want? Group photo.
I'd like to make that comment about the Canadian Safety Council called for no more casinos.
No, I'm thinking we should go.
Hi, Matt. Oh, do you? Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's one guy. You know, and there's so many other examples. Like, look at that affair. 7 months. Which they would just all use testing.
In high school, I actually go to a place where one of them is one. But it is just time. I'm like, the law festival, they have a meeting there, and they give you a free well.
Oh, I took the petition. The signatures, there's 2,220.
there's a pen there too, or something like that.
I left a pen.
There it is. I don't think it's mine, but
It's on the table.
give it to Tom. Turn this thing off now.